By now, we've all heard about the benefits of intermittent fasting. Many of us have tried it and found great value, and some of you still haven't taken the plunge, but you're curious enough to learn more. So wherever you are on the intermittent fasting spectrum, today I want to share with you how you can use the principles of Ayurveda to optimize its impact and get powerful health benefits. To be clear, the definition of intermittent, which is an adjective, is occurring at irregular intervals or not continuous or steady. Just knowing this can give you the insight that it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It gives you room to play when it comes to when you eat and when you fast. I personally think it's important to make sure that it fits into your life rather than stressing out about fitting into a box that can feel confining. So today I'll share with you how to use Ayurveda to optimize your intermittent fasting experience that will not only help you balance your blood sugar, boost your metabolism, and get the benefits of autophagy, which is a cellular detox that happens when you fast, but also how to do it in a way that honors your body's own rhythms and optimizes your health. If you don't know me already, my name is Mary Sheila Ganella, and I'm a board-certified holistic nutritionist and Ayurvedic practitioner. I have been sharing the good word of nutrition for over 13 years now, and I truly believe food is medicine, and the more you know about how food meets your physiology, the more you can take your health into your own hands and truly live a vital life. I'm excited to share with you that I've created a Vitality Club, and this short video is a sneak peek of what I share in the group. Each month I choose an important topic relating to health, break down the science so it's easy to understand, and teach you how you can apply it to your own life with food, lifestyle, and self-care practices. I give you recipes and handouts related to the topic, and then host a monthly Q&A call where the Vitality Club comes together and is able to ask questions and get answers. And we always have some good laughs on the call. It's fun and a great way to stay connected to your health goals, because let's face it, it can be hard to stay the course. Right now in this video, I'm sharing a little appetizer with you, and if you want the main course, I invite you to sign up for this month's class where I'll share even more about how to boost your metabolism with Ayurvedic principles. And you can also have access to the entire menu of topics and sign up to join the club for the whole year and truly say yes to getting the support and guidance to living your best life. So without further ado, let's not only dive into intermittent fasting, but let's look at it from the Ayurvedic viewpoint, which is the ancient science of medicine from India. What I love about Ayurveda is that healing the body and finding balance is rooted in food as medicine, honoring our emotions, and self-care. These together serve as the foundation to optimal health. In my practice, I have found that the seat of health is a balanced hormonal system. And when I talk about hormones, I'm not just talking about your sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, but all of the metabolic hormones, including insulin, cortisol, and melatonin, and thyroid hormone, to name just a few. It's the balance and rhythm of these hormones that all add up to our homeostatic balance, where the body is centered and healthy. When these hormones are balanced within the body, they all have their time to ebb and flow and do their job. When they are not balanced, there is the potential of a domino effect. If one is out of balance, then the others follow suit. That's one reason why chronic stress can lead to thyroid imbalance or blood sugar issues, which can lead to diabetes. The more we honor our own hormonal rhythms, which include the rhythms of nature like light and darkness, eating and fasting, rest and digest versus fight or flight, the more we can find true health. So where does fasting come into the story of honoring our hormones and our rhythms? All of our metabolic hormones have their own rhythm. For example, in the morning, cortisol is high so that we have units of energy to get up and start our day. At night, it should be low so that we can go to sleep. Insulin should be low in the morning because we haven't eaten since the night before. And if we have insulin resistance or diabetes, it might be higher in the morning. Waiting to eat will often allow it to come down. When we fast, it's a way to reset the metabolic hormones, giving them time to rest and allowing other hormones to come out and do their job while your digestion rests. It's a win-win for all body systems to have their chance to do their job. Intermittent fasting is having a very clear line in the sand between your eating window and your fasting window. When you're eating, your digestion is on and working, and when you're fasting, it is resting and empty. If you're an intermittent faster, or even if you're not, you've heard people talking about their windows, things like 14-10, 16-8, or 24, which means they have a fasting window of 14 and an eating window of 10, or 16 hours fasting and an eating window of 8 hours, or a fasting window for 20 hours and then an eating window for 4. So while there are variations, remember intermittent means occurring at irregular intervals, so there are choices to make. And when you understand the elemental principles of Ayurveda, you can choose the best timing for your unique constitution, which is your unique body type. So what happens when you intermittently fast? Again, you have a clear line of eating and fasting. When you're fasting, you allow your hormones of digestion to reset or take a break. This also allows your digestive organs to take a break too. During the fasting window, insulin comes down, which allows your body to go into fat burning and is critical for any kind of diabetic or pre-diabetic person. Insulin and blood sugar going down during this time has a positive effect on the brain and can help to lower inflammation in the body. So with this in mind, let's start with the first principle connecting Ayurveda and intermittent fasting. According to Ayurveda, the best time of the day to have your main meal is in the middle of the day. Ayurveda is an elemental science, and I will be sharing more about the elements and how they play out during the day and in your own body in the masterclass. But for now, let's just say that your digestive fire is strongest when the sun is also strongest, anywhere from 11 to 2. The hottest time of the day is also the time that digestion is strongest. I know that many of us are used to eating our biggest meal at night for dinner, but for optimal digestion and to allow the body to truly rest at night when you're sleeping and fasting, having the majority of your calories earlier in the day during your feeding window is ideal for optimal health. The second point I'd like to make is that when your eating window opens up, it's important to focus on meals and not just snacking during that window. According to Ayurveda, and maybe your mother when she wouldn't let you snack before dinner, it's best to just have 2 or 3 meals. This means when you're in a feeding state, it's not open season to eat continuously during this time. Ayurveda has the philosophy that it's supportive to fast between meals and give your digestive organs a rest. In between meals is a time for tea, hydration, and movement. If we are snacking constantly, this means that our metabolic hormones are constantly being called upon to help us with digestion. As I said earlier, if one hormone comes out of balance, this can become a domino effect for the others. If I am snacking all day during my eating window, I will be calling on insulin all day. If insulin is elevated for too long, the body can become resistant to it. This is essentially the beginning of diabetes, which is called insulin resistance. The last point I'd like to make to tie it all together, and I'll be going into a lot more detail in the masterclass about these concepts, as well as how to use Ayurvedic principles to boost your digestive fire, is to learn about how best to fast for your unique constitution. According to Ayurveda, we all have different constitutions. Essentially, we are made of the elements of ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Depending on your genetic makeup is what makes you, you. We all have different shapes and sizes. Some bodies are smaller, some are bigger, and some are right in the middle, kind of like the Goldilocks effect. Ayurveda groups body types into 3 main categories or doshas. Again, I'll share a lot more in the full masterclass that you can sign up for, but for now, I'll keep it simple. To put it in simple terms, there's only some of us who are built to be swimsuit models. We call that body type Vata. So for the Vata type who wants to intermittent fast, you might do well eating your breakfast by 8 or 9 and finishing dinner by 5 or 6. Likely having the longest feeding window of the 3 and probably still eating 3 meals, but still not eating for 12 to 14 hours in the 24-hour period. This is also a great way to start intermittent fasting. The Pitta type, the person who is somewhat muscular, medium framed, likes to exercise and has pretty balanced, robust digestion, and the kind of person who can eat anything and might like to put hot sauce on everything, does well having their first meal at 10 or 11 and finishing by 6 or 7. This person can likely comfortably fast for 15 or 16 hours. And then there's those that we call kapha, who have a slower metabolism, a heavier body type, and don't necessarily wake up hungry or like to exercise, and would have an easier time training their body to fast in the morning without becoming overly hungry or even hangry like the vata or pitta types. These are the people who could start eating later in the day, easily having their first meal at lunch or even in the afternoon, and as an intermittent faster, find it easier to have just one meal a day. Perhaps their first meal is between 12 to 2 or even later, and their eating window is more like 4 to 6 hours. Now, what I just described just now could be a great way to start thinking about what best describes you and start there. Again, intermittent fasting is interchangeable, but over time you might find what suits you and find a rhythm that is aligned with your constitution and even your metabolism. There are other variables having to do with low thyroid, adrenal issues, and other hormonal balance issues, and I'll be discussing those in the masterclass. But ultimately, fasting is truly part of our ancestral DNA and has health benefits that include boosting the metabolism, detoxifying the body, and balancing the hormonal system. In the full masterclass that you can sign up for now, I'll be discussing the main principles of Ayurveda, beginning with the elements of ether, air, fire, water, and earth, and where those elements are in the body and what it means when they get out of place and flood into other tissues. Elements out of place in the body turn into symptoms, so we'll look at common symptoms through the Ayurvedic lens. I'll share with you one of my favorite Ayurvedic concepts when it comes to how the body takes in nutrients, but more specifically, what does it mean to nourish the deepest layers of the body? How do you make sure that the foods you are eating are assimilated all the way to your bones so that you can age with strong bones and a healthy immune function, since your bone marrow builds your immunity? Ayurveda's approach to nourishing the tissues, or dhatus as they are called, has transformed how I see and nourish my own body, and I'm excited to share this concept with you. And finally, I'll be sharing what I like to call Ayurvedic secrets to supporting and boosting your digestive system, so that how, when, and what you eat truly boosts your metabolism, creates optimal absorption and assimilation of the foods you are eating, and makes you feel your best by applying the concepts of this ancient science to your everyday life. When you sign up for the class, you'll get the masterclass, delicious recipes and handouts, and access to the Vitality Club Q&A community call, where we'll come together and have a conversation guided by your questions. I hope you join me, and I look forward to sharing more with you. Sign up now by clicking on the link. Thanks for watching, and happy feasting and fasting.